Hello guys, this is Rashid Lotf. In this video I'm gonna show you how to create artworks like this one really quickly using my archive. Since I've been doing this for a long time, it's actually more than 6 years, I've been able to collect a lot of assets that help me a lot in this work and make it easier for me. So like I said, in this video I'm gonna quickly show you how to create an artwork using the archive. I started by going to the archive. I gathered the elements and images that I'm gonna use in the artwork. I always start off by getting a clear idea of the area and the console that I'm gonna use in the artwork. So I start off by getting all of my elements in a single folder, then I start placing the elements. You could even find rooms like this one in the archive, already prepared rooms, some bases for your artworks. I place them, then I start adding a window. I prefer to start by adding the big elements. In a window like this one, I could change the time of the day or the trees. I can change all of the elements in this window. Generally in the archive, you're gonna find a lot of layers to allow you to change everything. Like I mentioned, I always start with the big elements. In our case, it's the shelf, the window, the TV, the hands holding the controller, all of these big elements. Then of course I start adding the consoles and the medium-sized items. And of course only at the end that I start adding the small details. So there you go. In our case we went for a front-facing view, and this is something that I advise you to start with. A front-facing view is always easier in perspective. So I really advise the beginners to not really create artworks in complex perspectives. Sometimes I might fix the perspective of the object if it's not right, but generally with front-facing views, you're not gonna face too much difficulties, with the objects. They fit like a glove without problems. Now, of course, I gradually start adding the objects. I might not know the exact placement of an object. That's why I gather all of my items in a folder, then I start adding them. And if I want to fill an empty space, I can always go back to the archive and find the right element to add. In our case, in this artwork, I chose to add Streets of Rage. Okay. I also added a Sonic version, as you can see. Sometimes I choose images like this one with a lot of games. I might pick some games, some game collections, and I add them to my shelves. I just cut them out from the shelves and add them to my own. You could do that. And whenever I'm done adding the big and medium elements, I start adding the posters like this. I place them on the wall, then I organize them according to my taste. Then on top of all of them, I add a little bit of shadow to play on the depth of field. There you go, because as you can see, the first plane is the wall, the second one is the table on TV, and the third one is on the hands. Roughly, we have 3 planes, so I separate them with different shadows, separate ones, to give each one some depth and some size. And of course at the end I start adding shadows to the elements. Now some objects in the archive already have shadows, but some of them don't have it, so I add it manually. But I only do that after adding shadows to the elements behind them. Like I said, I really focus on the depth of field in this part. Then in here I start adding some colors and ambience. Okay, a little bit of orange in the center. I add a lot of overlays, as you may have noticed, just to add a little bit of colors, just subtly of course. You don't have to add a lot of blue or red, just a little bit is going to create a lot of charm. Now I just made the window a little bit darker to fit with the room that's a little bit bright but darker on the sides. Now I add a layer at the end with some bright orange. I decrease the effect to give some blur at the room. It creates a beautiful ambience. And of course I add a little bit of dodge at the end. Now I just fixed the cable of the controller. I'm gonna add the second one. The cable of this controller that our character is holding, I just duplicate the layer of the cable. I make it black and lower the opacity to create some shadow. Now this one is just a line that I created using the brush. I adjusted a little bit to attach a cable to the controller. We're gonna go more into detail with this in the upcoming videos. And of course we're gonna change the game on the cartridge to stay consistent with the game on the TV. Okay. Of course below the video you're gonna find the free course that I prepared before, where I'm gonna talk about all of this. I'm gonna explain all of my techniques. This video itself is in the premium course. Okay, you're gonna find the complete version. It's about an hour and 40 minutes where I'm gonna talk and explain all of the small details in here, because this one is kind of just like a summary, a quick summary to give you an idea of how I create my artworks. At the end I add a little bit of touch, some colors here and there to add some ambience, okay? And I'm also gonna show you this in the upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to never miss a notification whenever I post a new artwork. So generally this is how I create my artworks using the archive. So you could say that at the beginning you create your objects, but you're gonna always go back and use the same objects if you render a 3D PlayStation or cut it as a PNG. Once you cut it out, you could always go back and use the same console multiple times. So this is the final artwork. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit to show you the details. Like I said in the description of the video, you're gonna find a link to take a look at the free course if you're interested. We're gonna create this artwork, these two artworks. It's basically the same one, but I just tried to create two versions. One is about the PlayStation and the other one is about the Nintendo 64. It's a 1-hour video where I explain everything to you. There's 4 videos, and in each one I explain something specific. So like I said, the link is in the description below the video, so don't forget to subscribe to receive all of the upcoming videos where we dive deeper into the details that we just created. It's gonna be more informative and I'm gonna dive deeper into all of the small details.